Hello and welcome to another live episode of Leveraging AI, the podcast that shares practical, ethical ways to improve efficiency, grow your business, and advance your career. This is Isar Metis, your host, and I have a really exciting show for you today. Many of you follow me on LinkedIn, and if you're not, first of all, shame on you. Second, connect with me on LinkedIn. I love engaging with people on LinkedIn. But the truth is, LinkedIn is the largest business conference in the world. It runs 24/7. It has billions of people. Your clients are over there. Your prospects are over there. Your suppliers are over there. Everybody's over there. And very few people actually create content on LinkedIn. The statistic says that less than 2% of people on LinkedIn actually create content consistently. That's a very small amount of people compared to the entire population, meaning if you are creating content, you're going to be ahead in that conference. But to do it effectively, you need to know how to do this, and to do this in a way that will be engaging and that will also allow you to connect with other people. You have to know how to do this. And if you want to do this consistently, you have to have a system in place. Lucky for us, AI today makes many of the steps of this process significantly easier than it has ever been. So if historically doing stuff like that used to take weeks of preparation and it was very hard for people to stay on top of this and make it happen, that's not the case anymore. Today, it's actually really easy to do this with AI. So what we're going to learn today, and I'm going to start sharing my screen in a minute, so you'll be able to follow the presentation as well, but we're going to learn the multiple steps. So the biggest mistakes that people do is they jump straight to, oh, write me a LinkedIn post about 1, 2, 3. And it never works out great, and it's never that effective because it's missing all the preparation steps. So what I'm going to teach you today is how to do the whole process beginning to end, and hopefully ChatGPT is up because Sean just told me that it's down for him. So hopefully it's up for us because a lot of this is based on ChatGPT. But if not, I will at least be able to explain to you how that's going to work. These are the fun things of going live. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a full blueprint on how to use AI to create engaging content that converts on LinkedIn. I get consistently good posts that a lot of people are following and engaging with. And we're going to learn, as I mentioned, the entire process step by step. So let's start by really discussing what makes a great LinkedIn post. What are the components? The first and most important thing is actually providing value to your audience, meaning people are not there to hear about you. They're not there to hear about your business. They're not there to understand the topics you're selling. They're not there to cheer you up. People are on LinkedIn to learn new stuff and network with people that can impact their business, meaning you need to know your target audience very well, their pain points, what makes them tick, what issues they have, what problems they're trying to solve, where their business is at, what's the economy is doing to their business, and so on and so forth. In other words, in short terms, you need an ICP, which stands for Ideal Client Persona. You need a very detailed understanding of who is it that you're talking to and how can you help them out, and build your content around that. The other thing, you need them to stop the scroll. People scroll the height of the Eiffel Tower every single day through social media, LinkedIn included. You need something to make them stop. And there's two things that will make them stop. A great hook, which is the first sentence or two sentences that people see, and then they need to click the 3 dots to see the rest of your post. So if that's not good, they're just going to keep on scrolling. And the second is the visuals, like whatever image or video you have that will make them excited or interested in what you want to share. Then, if they do open this, it needs to be easy to read. If you write long paragraphs, like in a science fiction book, people are not going to read your posts. Post needs to be short sentences, to the point, spaced, so it's easy to digest very quickly and like skim through it. So the format makes a very big difference. You need to drive engagement. So it's all about engagement, because when people engage with your post, the algorithm is going to show it to more people, which are then going to engage with your post, which is going to show it to even more people. To do that, you need to ask questions. You need to make bold statements that people will want to respond to. You need to offer something to people. That's another way to do this. If you want the specific something, the full detailed guide on how to do this thing, my secret sauce on my prompting, like whatever it is, comment and share this post, and people will, and that creates additional engagement. And also ask people to comment what their thoughts are, what they think, and so on. So ask provocative questions or just ask questions, and you will get a lot more responses than if you don't. Tag the relevant people. So posts that have tags to relevant people, don't troll people. I hate it when people do this to me. Like every now and then, like, oh, so-and-so has responded to a post that mentioned you. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. It knows nothing about me. It just literally trolls me and 25 other people that are experts on AI just to get attention. Don't do that. But if there's something relevant to something I said, or something you learned in my course, or something you're working with me as one of my consulting clients, and so on, and you tag me that way, I will definitely jump in and I will engage. And now you get a high profile person engaging with your post, potentially sharing it because you mentioned them in a positive way, and you're getting additional engagement and additional exposure. So tag the relevant people if there is an option to do that, and engage with your own post. A lot of people post and then, okay, that's it. When somebody comments, comment back, make it a conversation. When you comment back, ask a follow-up question if there is one. So if somebody said, oh, this is really fascinating, I'm really interested in this topic, ask them a follow-up question. What exactly are you interested about? Is there anything specific in your business that this applies to? Do you have anything to add? And then most likely they will come and write again. So there's more engagement. So LinkedIn shows it to more people. So on a high level, this is what you want to do. So this is the what. Now let's dive into the how. How do you actually do this? And so these are the steps. This is literally the blueprint, but I'm going to show you step by step how to do each and every one of these things. So it starts, as I mentioned, by identifying the ideal client persona, your ICP. Let's look at how that can be done very easily using AI and LinkedIn itself. So the way I do the ICP process, specifically for LinkedIn and AI, is I do the following. For this particular process, I either use Gemini or ChatGPT. I actually find that ChatGPT does it more consistently than Gemini. Gemini, in many cases, will not allow me to do this. What I do is I go to actual clients of mine, or if you're just getting started and you're not sure who are your clients or your potential clients, look at your target audience. Like, who would you like to have as a client? And just copy the URLs to their LinkedIn profiles. Copy 5, 6, 10, 20, as many as you can that are actual clients of yours, your best clients, the ones that are paying you the most, that have been with you the longest, that you have no issues with, that are your exact, these are the people you want to work with. And what I do is I copy these URLs to their profiles, to ChatGPT, and I literally tell it that this is what I'm trying to do. You are an expert in identifying a target audience for a business and defining a well-defined ICP. You do this and you are very good at understanding their goals, their needs, their wants, etc., etc., etc. And here are examples of my target audience. What I would like to do is I would like to create a detailed profile of these people. I would like you to take into account their demographics, their psychographics, the things they care about, their education, their experience, etc., etc., etc. There's a long list of things that I tell it to pay attention to, and then it just hit go. Now, there's something funny about, like I said, Gemini usually won't do it at all, and ChatGPT will every now and then tell you, I don't have direct access to people's profiles on ChatGPT. So my prompt in my prompt library literally says, don't tell me you don't have access to people's profiles on LinkedIn because I've done this with you multiple times. Please go ahead and continue the process. And then it usually does not give me that comment, but I can guarantee you it does have access. And then what it does, it will actually build you a very detailed ICP. It will give you a very long list of things that it can do, which I can actually show you because I have it prepared in my prompt library. So let me show this to you on a Word document or just a Google Doc. So for my prompt library, I use a tool called Magical. It's a Chrome extension. And it's a Chrome extension that you can use for multiple different purposes. I've been using it way before AI was a thing to have shortcuts for things that I write a lot. But I also use it as my prompt library because you can put things in different folders and use it as prompts. So what I created for this example is I've used people like me. So I assume I'm your target audience. So people who are AI experts are your target audience. And I linked several different profiles. I don't remember how many because we don't have the prompt in front of us, and had, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 of them. And I saved them in, once I got the answer of what the ICP is, the description that ChatGPT gave me based on these people, I saved it as a shortcut here. So the way this tool works is you go to templates and you add a template. In a template, there's two things. There's a very long, detailed thing that you can write here that could be one line or could be 5 pages, and a trigger, basically a shortcut that you're going to use. So the shortcut I use for this demo is called 1ICP. So when I type 1ICP, it doesn't work. Awesome. Let's try it from here. It will write all of this. So if I go here and I type 1ICP in my prompt line, it brings in a page and a half of description of my target audience. And again, the way I generated this was by literally grabbing multiple links of people who are my target audience, putting them in ChatGPT and asking it to write it. And so it has primary industry, technology and AI consulting. Most of your top clients operate in industries related to technology, AI, and consulting, which that's the ICP that I created. Geographic location, primary United States, but some of them are in Europe. And Western markets, specifically in the influence communication style, marketing strategies, and compliance requirements. Roles and seniority, common roles, CEO, founders, entrepreneurs, and AI experts. And then gave me some more details about that. Company size, typical company size, small to medium companies, 10 to 250 employees. Psychographics, innovative and forward thinking with a lot of details, education and expertise with more details, networking and influence. These clients are highly active on platforms like LinkedIn. They share insights, engage, blah, 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 blah. Everything you know about me, because again, I picked 10 people like me as the target audience. Needs and pain points. So then it gave me pain points of this target audience, and it gave me multiple of them with examples, communication preferences, how they like to communicate, focus on value and ROI, and then a summary of all of that. So now I have an ICP that I can reuse again and again every time I'm trying to create content for any platform, because I have a very detailed definition that took me about 5 seconds to create. Now, the reality, what I usually do is I go and add to it myself. I go add pinpoints that I know that are relevant because I am working with this target audience. I go and add needs and wants that I know that are there that is hard to identify based on just the LinkedIn profiles. But this is an incredible start that 99% of the people do not do. So grab links, put them in there, write your prompt, and continue from there. So let's continue from here. So step number 2 is effective post frameworks. So how do you start with effective post frameworks? And what the hell does that mean? So you can just write a post, right? You can go ahead, start with a blank sheet of paper and write your post. But there are frameworks that work. Other people in your industry that are writing posts that always gets attention. Now, yes, when they started, maybe they didn't, but they follow a framework or frameworks. And there's multiple types of frameworks, and you can find them in several different ways. One is just go to my favorite tool for this is Perplexity. Go to Perplexity and say, I'm looking to write effective LinkedIn posts. I'm looking for specific frameworks for specific use cases. Can you share with me multiple types of frameworks that people use to write effective LinkedIn posts? And it's going to give you 5, 10, 20 of them, depending on the use case. This could be awareness. This could be engaging. This could be driving excitement. This could be conversion. This could be whatever the case you're trying to do. It will give you multiple frameworks. So you can copy these frameworks as is and make them your own to use them in future prompts in a similar way that I showed you before. Save them into your prompt library and say, I want to use this framework. But there's another way to do this that is even more specific, but I'll explain that as well. So how do I do the frameworks section? I actually go to people that I admire, the people that I follow, the people that are in my industry that are doing amazing things, and I copy their successful posts. Now, there's 3 ways to do that. One is to actually copy the post and paste that into your large language model. The other is to give it a link to the post. And the third, which I found most effective because it understands the whole of it, is to just take a screenshot of the whole thing. So I zoom out on the screen, or use my phone. On my phone, I can take longer screenshots than just the screen itself, so I can capture the whole thing. And I capture the whole prompt and the image or video that comes with it. So I take one of those that I really like, that got a lot of engagement from my target audience, and I paste it into ChatGPT, and I tell it, you are an expert in copywriting, in analyzing LinkedIn posts. I would like you to look at this specific post and analyze the framework that it's built in. How is it built as far as length, number of words, structure, length of sentences, spacing, details, tone of voice, the graphics that it's using? I have a whole list of things that I tell it to look at. And I want you to create a framework for me based on this post. And then it does. And it will create a framework for you that you can then save, again, with a little bit of massaging and questions back and forth. You will get it to create a very detailed framework for you. So that framework you can then put in your prompt library and use that again and again. The other thing that you can do with it is you can save it as a way for you, the large language model, help you pick the right framework for the specific use case. What do I mean by that? So let me again show you without showing you on the large language model. So what I did for this demo, I created, and I've used, and I can actually show you exactly what I've done, just minus the prompts, which I'll be able to share with you afterwards later on. I created a document, and that document is called Effective LinkedIn Post Frameworks. The beginning of the document says, this document includes frameworks for writing different types of effective posts on LinkedIn. When you see this document, do the following, and it's built as instructions for the large language model. Read all the frameworks, consider which one is going to be the most impactful to the specific needs based on the ICP, the topic that is defined by the user, the goal of the post, etc. And then there's headings for each and every one of the frameworks. The frameworks, the three examples I created here, one is called New Tool/Capability Introduction. I will scroll down to see the second one. The second one is called Concept Guide. The third one is called Inspiring Personal Story, and so on and so forth. Let's look at each and every one of them and see how they're actually built and how they actually work. So again, the way I've done this is, if I'll scroll down here, you'll be able to see a screenshot of a post. That screenshot includes the entire post plus the image. And so I take a screenshot of a post. It doesn't have to be yours. In most cases, it won't be yours unless you're already really good at this, but somebody that you know that does very well. And you put it into ChatGPT, you wrote what I told you before, and then it will spit out this entire thing, length, post length. The post is relatively short, approximately 200 to 300 words, which makes it concise and easy to digest. Writing style, it gave me a detailed description of the tone, the engagement, and the emotion, the way it's written. Format, so it talks about the structure. There's an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, and a call to action. Paragraphs, the paragraphs are short and to the point, typically 1 or 2 sentences each. Then he talks about the type of content, the content type. The post is a combination of educational and promotional content. It informs the reader about a free tool that can upscale images. The purpose is to educate the audience to valuable resources while simultaneously promoting engagement and call to action. Visual aspects, it analyzes the images and exactly what's in the image and why it's working. Additional factors, there's a call to action in the thing, and it explains why it works and what's the format to make it work. Engagement triggers, like what kind of engagement triggers included in the post. The post users engagement triggers offering something in value for free exchange for a simple action, which is commenting. So I told people if they want a link to the specific tool, they just need to comment on the post, and people do. And so I got a lot of engagement on that post. Timing, although directly not visible in this post, the timing of the post is also critical. And then it created an actual framework, like a step-by-step thing, how to replicate this. So if I want to create another post that introduces a new technology or a new tool and make it educational and make it work, I can use this as part of my prompt to Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, your favorite tool, whichever one you want, to be able to write this kind of thing. But it goes beyond that. And the reason I'm saying it goes beyond that, what I can do now, because I have a document that has multiple of these. So here you can see how I did it, and you'll be able to see the prompt where I did it as well. So in the beginning, I told you I created the ICP, right? You're an expert marketing researcher with 20 years of experience. You are top expert in understanding the ICP profile, wants and needs in a way that can be translated into great marketing. And then I gave it links to different people. As a first step, I would like you to carefully review their profiles, find what they have in common, industry, geography, age, seniority, roles, etc., and create a detailed summary of these commonalities. Do not tell me you cannot access LinkedIn profiles directly, as you helped me with such tasks many times in the past. Take your time, review the profiles one by one, and create an accurate and useful ICP. And then it created the ICP I just showed you. And then what I did, I literally just saved it into the magical Chrome extension. So then I can use it again and again. And when I've done multiple of these, and you can see if I scroll down, there's some of these, then I created that. Then I went to step 2, which is what I told you. I pasted an image of a successful prompt, and the prompt to that was, an image of a successful post. And the prompt was, let's analyze what content these people consume. I will give you a link to a LinkedIn post. I didn't give it a link, I actually gave it a picture, as well as that was well received by this audience. Please analyze this post and create a framework for me that I can use in the future. Please pay attention to length, writing style, format, type, etc., the visual aspect, etc., etc. Your response should be a highly detailed guide. It should enable you or another large language model to create a new content based on this post framework. The image I'm attaching is of a complete post. I would like you to review the text. Also, please analyze the image, take your time, look at all aspects of this post, create a detailed, effective guide. So that's how I created this, but I created multiple of these. And then I created that document, right? So now I have a document that has multiple examples of specific frameworks, and we'll get to how to use it later on. Then you want to add your knowledge, right? So as I mentioned before, and I will look at a different examples in ChatGPT that hopefully will open as well. So you'll see here, I've done a similar process, but after I got these examples, I added my own stuff. Let me add one thing. And this is for a different target audience, so ignore the fact it's not aligned with the previous example as far as the ICP. But all these people are customer business executives, CBEs. They manage large client accounts in the telecom industry. They are in charge of making these customers happy and driving additional sales by generating new pipeline. A lot of the content should serve these in these aspects. And then I've defined their pain points and so on. So in addition to what ChatGPT finds for you or any other tool that you're using, you want to add what you know about your clients. And again, you can save that as well as part of your ICP or a part of your ICPs if you're serving several different clients. So you want to add what you know about these clients through working with them and so on, mostly on their challenges, their pain points, their needs and wants that is sometimes hard to find just by looking at LinkedIn profiles. So let's continue. Content, calendar, and plan. So now we know our target audience. We know we have multiple specific frameworks for different use cases. We've added our own knowledge about the audience, and now we need to decide what we're actually going to post. That's maybe the hardest thing, coming up with ideas on what we want to post next. So the next step in the process, I first of all ask it to ask me questions. Before we dive into this, let me know if you have any questions that would help you in this effort of writing the post. And it asked me questions. So you can do that, by the way, in anything you're doing with any of the large language models. I do this all the time. I ask it to ask me questions that will help the large language model help me even better. So the question it asks is content format preferences, primary goals, key pain points, existing content that was successful, and competitors that are serving these kind of things. And then I said, great questions, here are my answers, and I answered in detail all these questions. So this is, those of you who are listening and not watching this, there's like a whole page of me answering. But then the actual prompt before that was, let's start looking at the content. We are in the process of identifying the content types that would provide value to this ICP that we've already identified. But the content should appeal to both prospects and clients. Hence, I would like to create content that would serve top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel content. In short, it's called tofu, mofu, and bofu. Those of you who don't come from the marketing world, that's what it means. So top of the funnel content would be creating awareness to even know that I exist and what I do. Middle of the funnel will be building some kind of rapport so people understand the depth of my knowledge and my understanding and my skills and who I serve and so on. And the bottom of the funnel will be creating conversion. Book a call with me, sign up to my course, etc., etc. So these are the types of content. I would like you to create a table with the following parameters. 4 columns. Column number 1, content ideas. Number 2, tofu. Number 3, mofu. Number 4, bofu. So I have 4 columns, and then each row will have a single topic in column 1, which would provide value to the target audience. This topic should be very specific and well-defined. Do not write 3 words, but rather write a detailed description of the topic as it relates to the ICP, to our target audience, and the value it will provide. For each of the general topics, please write at least 3 ideas for content that would provide value and would be engaging as top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or bottom of the funnel. So basically, for every content idea, I'm going to get 3 ideas for top of the funnel, 3 ideas for middle of the funnel, and 3 for bottom of the funnel. And so let's see what it created. What ChatGPT created is created a table exactly based on what I asked. So on the first column, there's a content ideas based on the pain points that we've defined. So in the first example, it's saying driving more sales from existing clients. And then it has 3 content ideas for top of the funnel. One is a regular LinkedIn post, one is a video post, and the third one is a poll. For middle of the funnel, for the same driving more sales from existing clients, it suggested 3 ideas for middle of the funnel. Writing a LinkedIn article, creating an infographics, and sharing an ebook. And then for bottom of the funnel, it suggested webinar, case study download, and consultation offer. And it did the same thing for every single pain point that we have suggested that this target audience has. So now I have probably over a month of very detailed content that I can share. Now, the reality is you don't want to share it evenly. You want to do, depending on where you are in your journey and how many people know about you, you want to share more of top of the funnel content, less middle of the funnel content, and very little bottom of the funnel content if you are just getting started. But if you've been doing this for a while, you can change that ratio to get it more and more specific. Okay, so let's look at the next thing. Now we have identified the ICP, we have frameworks, we added our own knowledge, and we have a content and calendar plan. Awesome. So what do we do next? Next, we need data for the post. We need a new topic. How do we get started with that? So let's go back here to ChatGPT and look at what I've done next. I just gave it an example. So basically, I'm following up on this table that ChatGPT created together with all the information that I gave it. As the first post, I would like to create the case study download under BOFU, driving more sales. So if I go back to the table, has a section called driving more sales, and under BOFU, it has 3 different ideas. One of them is a case study download. And it says offer an in-depth case study download exchange for contact information, highlighting major success stories and the steps that needs to be taken in order to achieve it. So that's what we're working on right now. So here is a case study. I share with it a link for a case study. Now, the cool thing is I was able to find a relevant case study on LinkedIn. So the link that I'm going to share stays within LinkedIn, which LinkedIn actually loves. LinkedIn doesn't like when you send people outside of LinkedIn. So if you can either create your own case study on LinkedIn or find somebody else's case study on LinkedIn, you're going to not lose points with the algorithm because you're keeping people within the platform. So I gave it a link to the LinkedIn case study, and I said, I would like you to do the following. Read the case study carefully, extract the key points, turn it into an engaging post on LinkedIn. It needs to target the ICP we identified above, use short sentences, use 1 line of space. So now I'm defining the structure that I want, 1 line of space between each thing and the other. Start with a strong hook, end with a call to action. Use conversational tone and keep it intriguing so that the reader would want to continue the reading. Take a deep breath, work step by step, write an irresistible post. And it wrote a post for me. Now, this post is based on external information that I gave it. You can give it, and I'll give you another example afterwards. You can give it product data or your web page that talks about your service that you worked hours to create and that exactly explains what you do. You can share with it a video on YouTube that explains, like, whatever it is that will give it references. You can give it more than one. Let's say you have a web page and a PDF that explains what you do or explain the topic that you want to talk about. You can use all of these as a starting point together with the framework and everything that we talked about to create the post. So now we gave it post data, we created the post. The next step is to create the graphics. How do you create the graphics for the post? So I use multiple tools to generate AI graphics. My top three are probably Midjourney, DALL-E 3, and Ideogram. The reason I use Ideogram, first of all, it's a great tool in general, but also because it creates text better than all the other tools combined. And so if you need text in your images, even though all the tools are getting better, Ideogram are still far ahead. There's a new toy in town, as you probably know, Flux.1 just released an open source model that is incredibly good. It's as good as Midjourney on many different aspects. It's just not user-friendly yet. There's no real user interface to use it. You can use it through other different platforms, but it's not accessible to a normal basic user yet. I've been using it for the last couple of days since it came out, and I really enjoy the benefits, but you can start with all the other ones. But what is the biggest benefit of using DALL-E 3, which is the tool within ChatGPT? The benefit, it has context. It knows everything that we've talked about. It understands the ICP. It understands the post that we're writing. It understands the goal that we're trying to serve. It knows all of that because it's within the same chat. So doing this, creating graphics within ChatGPT is an awesome benefit. So let's scroll down. As you can see, I went back and forth with it and asking for different changes in the post. So I'm giving it instructions still within ChatGPT that will save me time in editing it myself afterwards. And then I got a final prompt that I'm happy with, including the hashtags and everything. But then I went to the next step. I would like you to suggest 3 different graphics that would be a good fit for this post. The colors need to be strong and the graphics needs to be bold. Make people stop their scroll through LinkedIn. Before you generate the images, please suggest 3 images for the graphics and explain why you think they are good. So then it gave me ideas. Description, color, and why. And then a second option, description, color, and why. And then the third option, description, color, and why. And then I gave it some additional information as far as the color scheme of my website and the color scheme of my brand and the type of graphics that I'm looking for. And then it created the graphics for me. So in this particular case, you can see the graphics says 35% more leads, and it has a graph going up. The only problem was that it has numbers that are not really numbers, like gibberish above the graph showing the progress, but it's showing 33%, then something that is a 3 or 5, and then a bunch of other one of those, which don't look really good. So you can remove those, and you can remove those in 2 different ways. One is just to copy this into Canva or other tool and edit it manually, but you can also roll the dice and try to do this within ChatGPT itself. So the way you do this, if you click on the graphics, it will open it as a full screen. And then there's this little brush icon on top of ChatGPT when you open the big picture. And if you click on that, it gives you a brush that you can control the size of it on the top left corner. And you can select different sections of the image and tell it what you want to do about it. So what I did is I did that and I asked it to remove the text, and it did. And then I had the final graphics that I could now use in the post that I'm trying to create. So very quickly, in matter of seconds, I had very powerful graphics that is aligned with this specific post, that is aligned with the target audience and the things they're looking for and the pain points. We're talking about generating more sales and growing leads in this post, and with as a pain point of the target audience. So it's a perfect fit. And there was no other easy way to do this unless I had ideas myself and so on. So doing this within ChatGPT is very helpful because it understands the full context of what's actually happening there. Give me thumbs up if you think that is really cool. Whether you're on LinkedIn or on ChatGPT, I would appreciate that. If you have any question, again, that's a good time to ask questions about how the magic is done. So this is how you create graphics. Let's go back to, and I see those on LinkedIn are not giving me thumbs up. So either you're not understanding me or you're just too shy. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so let's continue from here. We talked about post creation. We talked about post graphics. Now we need to talk about the hook. So I asked it to create a hook, and it created a hook, but the hook is not great. How do I create a better hook? How do I create ultimate hooks that will really get people to stop and want to read the specific posts that are written? Because remember, people only see the first 1.5 sentences before they click to see more. So the way to do that, I created a GPT. So GPTs, those of you who don't know what GPTs are, these mini automations that you can create within ChatGPT. You can do the same thing in Claude. It's called projects. Similar concept. You write a prompt that you want to reuse time and time again, and then you can use it to do multiple things. The other cool thing that you can do is you can call them from within the chat itself. And today, by the way, this morning, it didn't work, but we're going to try now live as well. So at post, it's not working. So in general, usually when you do this, if you type the @ symbol in your chat, it will pop up a menu with the recent GPTs that you use, with these recent automations that you've used. And you can call them from within the chat. But it doesn't really matter. So let's use this as an example. So I'll scroll back a little bit, and I'll grab the latest version of the post that ChatGPT gave me, minus the hook. So the hook it created is not great. The hook it created says, ready to boost your sales using LinkedIn. That's average minus. It's better than having nothing there, but it's not great. So I'm going to copy the post that it created for me. And again, usually I will probably add and massage it a little bit myself. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And I'm going to go to my GPTs, and one of them is called Post Hook Generator. So I'm going to go there, and all I have to do, I don't have to write any explanations and so on. It's already in there. I'm going to paste my post, and I'm going to hit enter. And then it's going to give me several options for hook frameworks that I can use, and what would be the specific hook for this specific post. So it gave me 3 options. Option number 1, X strategies I use to achieve Y. Option number 2, the ugly truth about X. Option number 3, X ways that help you with Y, right? So these are frameworks, but let's say for the first framework, it actually gave me a hook. 3 strategies this telecom company used to boost engagement by 47% and skyrocket sales. Now, remember, this post is supposed to get to people in the telecom industry that are trying to drive sales and engagement. So it's a perfect hook. It's a way better hook than we had before. It's absolutely amazing. And so the second hook is the ugly truth about low engagement in telecom. Here's how one company turned it around. Still very specific to the target audience, to the thing we're trying to solve. The third thing is 3 proven ways to drive more leads and sales in telecom. Learn from the best. I would have chosen the first one from the 3 options, but all 3 are much better than what I can come with. It took me about 3 seconds to come up with all 3 because that's what this thing does. But because you're here, I'm going to share with you the full thing. How's this thing doing this amazing magic of creating prompts? So all it is, if I'm editing the GPT, it has very simple instructions. It says, you're an expert copywriter who specializes in writing hooks for LinkedIn post. I want you to write 3 hooks for every LinkedIn post I provide. Please refer to the following hooks. Please select 3 hook templates that work. Please include the hook template and the number. Use the template to craft suitable hooks. And then there's a list of hooks that I literally just stole from multiple posts that I've seen on the internet. That's it. And then all I have to do is paste my post in there, and it will give me great hooks for what I need. So that's how we create the hook. So let's go back to our slide. So now we have a hook. Now let's put it all together and see how simple the whole process becomes once you have all these building blocks, because all we've been doing this entire session is creating building blocks that we can reuse time and time again. Now, what I've created, I told you I'm using a prompt library. To create a prompt library that helps me create posts, I literally made them numbered because I'm doing a step-by-step process. So I already showed you how I'm using Magical. So the first prompt is one post. That's the shortcut. One post. It's going to pop up this whole prompt. So the prompt starts with, you are an expert marketing copywriter specializing in writing engaging LinkedIn posts while taking into consideration detailed, effective writing frameworks that the marketing phase of the post, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, the goal of the post, etc. I need your assistance with writing an engaging post about, and then there's a place for me to put what I want to write about. So let's say my personal journey as an AI educator and consultant, not being anyone in this field a year and a half ago. Okay. Also, attach our LinkedIn references, information, blah, blah, blah. I don't have this right now, but if I want to attach additional information, as I mentioned before, I can. My target audience is, and then there's a place for me to put in the target audience. Now, remember, we already created a shortcut for this. The shortcut was one ICP. And then it input the entire ICP that we've created in step one, which is like 2 pages of details about my target audience. This post is intended to be for, and then it gives me top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. In this case, it's a middle of the funnel post. It's supposed to help people connect with me. This post is intended to be middle of the funnel and get people to connect with me on a personal level. Please ask me additional questions that may help you get better. And I hit go. And then it's going to ask me questions. So it's going to think about it. And now it's going to ask me questions about stuff that it needs to know. So the first question is milestones and key achievements. Could you share specific milestones or achievements from your journey? Because I told it I've been nobody a year and a half ago and I didn't share the details. So it asked me about that. Challenges to overcome. What were some of the major challenges and obstacles you faced? Again, all of great for the content of this post. Personalized insights and learning, what I've learned in the process, future goals, engagement, and call to action. So for the sake of time, I'm going to ignore all of that. But in a real scenario, I would have answered all these questions in detail, and I probably would have made snippets of them for my prompt library. So for now, I will say I am doing this as a demo. I would like you to make up great answers for all these questions. But then I also type, remember, the only thing I typed so far as the prompt was one post. That was my shortcut to step one. Now I have step two. So let's let it answer the questions. It's going to answer the questions on its own. So it's going to write all the stuff that I would have written. So milestones and achievement, challenges to overcome, like all the stuff that I would have answered, it's answering on its own right now. So that's what's happening on the screen. But my next prompt, all I have to type is the number 2 and then post, because this is my second step of creating this amazing post. So I type 2 post and a whole prompt shows up. This particular prompt says, attached you will find an effective LinkedIn post framework PDF. Please review it carefully, and based on the information above, please suggest the best frameworks that you believe will achieve the best results. Please explain to me why you chose it and provide pros and cons. So remember, we created that document earlier, right? We created the document that shows all the different frameworks following other people who did successful stuff. So all I have to do right now is grab the PDF and I'm going to attach it. I'm going to drop it in here. So you can see the PDF is called Effective LinkedIn Post Frameworks. And I'm going to hit go. So now what it's going to do, it's going to go to the document. The document has instructions built into the document. I showed you that before. And it tells me which frameworks it's going to choose and why it's choosing it. So based on the detailed review provided in the Effective LinkedIn Post Frameworks and your goal to connect personally with your audience through middle of the funnel post, inspiring personal story framework is the most suitable for crafting the LinkedIn post. Here is why this framework is the best choice. And it gives me lots and lots of reasons. It gives me pros and cons of other options. So other frameworks that it thinks that might be relevant, but are not as good. It's telling me why they're not as good. It's amazing. So now this was step 2, right? Now we're into step 3. So all I have to type is 3 post. So Number 3 is very simple. Please take into account all the information provided before, work step by step, and write an engaging post that would achieve the defined goals above. That's it. And I hit enter. It's going to write itself instructions, which is really cool. So it's going to tell me how it's going to work on this. Step 1, crafting a compelling hook. Step 2, sharing the personal journey. Step 3, providing actionable insights. Step 4, engaging to call to action, like all the stuff that you've learned from the framework and from everything I said. And then it writes the prompt. Ever wondered how much you can achieve in just 18 months? Here's my unexpected journey into AI. And it writes a great personal story. By the way, I don't like the way it wrote it because it didn't take into account that it needs to make it much shorter sentences. So I can tell it to change that, but we're going to skip that just in the sake of time. So I can give it comments about that as well. But then you go to number 4. So 4 post. Great. Now act as an expert graphic designer who specializes in thumb-stopping, attention-grabbing graphics for social media posts. I would like you to suggest 3 different graphics, what we did before. So I'm hitting enter and let's see what it does. So it's going to give me 3 suggestions based on everything that we've done. So graphics number 1, AI neural network visualization. Graphic number 2, before and after workflow diagram. Graphics number 3, personal transformation timeline. So I actually like the combination of number 1 and number 2. So let's do that. Let's do, I would like to combine number 2 and 3, create a before and after image of me, starting with me sitting at a desk, and the after image is me in a superhero suit that says AI on the chest. It's going to create the graphics. And we're going to go back to it in a minute because we're short of time. I'm going to show you what it's created. So that's it. That's the full process. Then I will get all of that. I will fine tune it on my own, meaning I will read the post. I will look at what it says. I will add my own little flavor to it and the structure that it's written. And I'm going to share it on LinkedIn. And I'm going to see what happens. And then I'm going to learn from that. And then I'm going to make adjustments to this entire process. Going back to a quick summary. Writing a LinkedIn post does not start by writing the LinkedIn post. It starts by understanding your target audience, the problems that they have, the issues, the pain points, their needs, their wants. Those large language models can help you with identifying that. You want to save that as your ICP, and you can have more than one. You want to understand frameworks that work. You can do this by researching external platforms, just by doing research, or you can do this by looking at people in your industry on LinkedIn. That's going to make it the most specific, and build your own frameworks. You can save them in a document and then have ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever, help you picking up the right one for your different use case. You can add and need to add your own knowledge, background information about your audience, background information about the specific goal, what you're trying to sell, all of that stuff. You want to use these tools to help you build a content calendar, a plan. What things you're going to post in what percentages for different stages of the user journey. You want to give it data for each post. This can be from your professional experience, from third parties, from wherever. Remember my use case scenario. You then can create the post. You can create the graphics. You can create a hook with either a GPT or a manual process. Remember, the hook and the graphics are extremely important in getting people to stop. And then create short snippets of prompts that can help you put this all together in seconds. We literally created this final post in 3 minutes based on this framework. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure always seeing so many people on LinkedIn and so many people on Zoom joining us for these live sessions. If you're not joining us on these live sessions, you just listen to this after the fact, come join us. We do this every single Thursday live with an expert or just myself, diving into stuff like that of how to do actual things with AI that can really impact the efficiency and the success of your business and career. That's our only goal. We're not selling anything and so on. So come join us. And thank you so much. I will see you next week, or those of you joining our Friday Hangouts, I'll see you all tomorrow.